Everybody, it's Nick at the Lost River Drive-In, and I am here today to talk to you about Halloween Ends. Now, I felt compelled to make this video after I was on my buddy Lee's channel, Drum Dums, on Friday night, and we kind of talked about a lot of things pertaining to Halloween Ends, and it really made me want to do this video. And this video is really going to be me talking about what I expect, what I want to see, and then also kind of addressing this toxicity and negativity that seems to surround this fan base. Now, first and foremost, you guys know I'm a diehard Halloween fan. I mean, look behind me. All behind the camera right there are posters all along the wall of the Halloween movies. Like, this is my franchise. This is my bread and butter. This is what I have loved since I was a kid. So I don't need to explain my credentials to anybody. But I feel like it's also fair to be weary about a new movie coming out. You know, you can be excited and you can be hopeful. You can also be kind of weary about, oh man, I don't know if I'm down for everything that I'm hearing or the direction they're going. Both of those viewpoints are totally valid. So let's get that right out in the open. Like, no matter which side you stand on there, you are validated in feeling that way, in my opinion, and really should be in everybody's opinion. But the insane amount of negativity that gets leveled at Halloween fans simply because we're Halloween fans and Halloween has kind of dominated the horror headlines for the past 5 years is just beyond the pale. It's absurd. Like, if these movies aren't for you, that's totally fine. You guys have heard me talk on my channel many times. Halloween 2018 is okay. You know, I don't hate it. I think it's fine. There was a lot of expectations there for me after it being, it had been a decade since we'd seen Michael, and I just felt like it was never going to meet my expectations, but it was fine. Halloween Kills was one of those movies that I went in with no expectations, and it was a freaking blast. Like, it was exactly what I wanted from a Halloween movie. A motiveless Michael that's literally just cutting up people in Haddonfield for the fuck of it. Like, and that was awesome to me. I really, really dug that. So then we come to Halloween Ends. And Halloween Ends is the end of this trilogy, and really the end of the Laurie Strode and Michael Myers story. And naturally, that's going to have a lot of us kind of apprehensive and kind of worried about how are they going to wrap this up? Is this going to be satisfying? Is this going to be believable to be a true end for this story? Are we going to walk away from this feeling okay about it? For me, personally, I'm mixed. All I want from Halloween Ends is some finality. I want there to be finality here. Now, whether that's Laurie dies, Michael dies, they both die, I don't know, but there's got to be finality here. There has to be an ending that goes, okay, they're not going to revisit that storyline. That's the first thing I want and I expect. I truly do believe this will not be ambiguous. I really believe that they are hammering home that this is the quote-unquote end, although we know Michael will be back eventually. But this is the end of the story, so someone's going down for good. You know. Now, the next thing I want is I want them to take this seriously. There are points in 2018 where the comedy is just a little bit too much. For me, I think that the comedy with Julian really works. I think Julian is hilarious. I think he steals the show. I know some people don't feel that way. I really dig Julian. But there's other parts, peanut butter on my penis and all this kind of stuff. Some of the interactions with the teens, they're just not funny. They come across as cringy, and as somebody that is no longer a teen that's writing dialogue for how they think teens talk nowadays. And I just don't think it really landed. Now, in Kills, I feel like the comedy was turned way down. Most of the comedy you get is Big John and Little John, and I think that works. You know, say what you will about Big John and Little John. I think their comedy works because it's not so on the nose where it's like, everybody pause for a second, we've got to laugh at this. Like, no, I think it works. I'm worried about Ends. Because if Ends leans more toward 2018 with the style and the feel and the comedy and whatnot, I don't think it's going to land. But having said that, it's not even about that. I think this movie should have little to no comedy. This is the end of this arc of 44 years. This is the end. So this movie should be pretty much breakneck pace, straightforward, to the point. I really think this movie needs to take itself seriously and understand what it has billed itself as and understand what points it needs to hit for it to resonate with the viewer. Having said that, I know it's Danny McBride and David Gordon Green. There's going to be some comedy, but I really, really hope it's tuned down. I really, really hope. But, man, another thing that I expect and that I'm hopeful for, I am hopeful that the final showdown between Laurie and Michael is going to be the best we've seen. Now, I am someone that is not a huge fan of H2O. I appreciate what H2O was trying to do and how it reinvigorated the franchise, and I do think it is Jamie Lee's best performance in this series. Having said that, I love the climax, the last 15 minutes. Having said that, I think that this fight could be the end-all be-all fight for both of them, and I look forward to that. If you're going to build this up like you are, if you are really going to try to hammer this home, this fight needs to hit it. I mean, every point from beginning to end. And I think it will. I do expect that. Here's my thing about expectations with this movie. It is not wrong to have worries or expectations about this movie in either direction. You can be very optimistic. You can be very pessimistic. It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. So I want to let you know that as the viewer, I'm not going to judge you no matter which way you land here, okay? But the toxicity of coming at us for being pessimistic or optimistic has got to stop, man. Like, you don't have to like what everyone likes. You don't have to hate what everyone hates. You don't have to try to be controversial because being edgy is, it sells, I guess. Controversy sells. If it's not for you, it's not for you. All I ask is that you give the movie a fair shot. You base it off of its merits and solely off of its merits. Does it work with what it's trying to do? Cool. Maybe it's not for you. Another expectation I have for Halloween Ends is this whole Corey Cunningham thing. Now, this is not a spoiler. This was in the plot synopsis. We saw, brief glimpses of him in the trailer, and everybody's asking questions about who this Corey Cunningham guy is. I'm going to say I expect and I hope that it's going to be a situation like we really get to know Corey, and we're really led to believe that Corey is something special, and at the end of the day, he's not. I think that at the end of the day, Michael and Jamie Lee are going to steal the show. The movie's going to try to dupe you into thinking certain people are main characters and they serve the plot more than they actually do. And at the end of the day, it's really just going to come down to Laurie and Michael. That's a risky move because this is the final movie in your trilogy and you're going to spend probably the better part of half to 2/3 of your movie trying to get us to care about characters that at the end of the day, we don't actually have to care about. That's a ballsy move. It can work if it is interesting enough and drives the other plot forward. If it serves as no purpose to the actual plot of Laurie and Michael Myers and the final showdown, then it was a complete waste of time. Also, if it's just handled poorly. But if it serves a purpose and drives that plot forward, it can work. So, for anybody that's trepidatious about the Corey thing, hold off until you see the movie. It can absolutely work. I'm not going to get into the rumors and things I know about Corey's actual motivations and what he actually is. But no matter what we may know, no matter what information we may be privy to, you don't know how you feel about it until you see it play out on screen. So I would just say, wait, hold ya horses. I feel like the fan base and the franchise as a whole have really been the kind of target of just the stereotypical, oh my God, this again argument. And it's just gotten so old. It really, really has. If you're not a fan of these movies, the original movies are there. The older movies are still there for you. Enjoy them. But as I said to Lee and as I've said to Christian on our podcast, we have to understand that these movies are this generation's Halloween. This is going to be how they're brought into this franchise. And they're going to be able to then go back throughout the history of this series and appreciate some of these older movies. And for us, that's cool. That should be cool that our favorite franchise, or one of our favorite franchises, continues to live on because it modernizes itself enough to bring new people in. My generation's Halloween was Rob Zombie's movies. That's when I was a teenager, and those were the first ones I saw in theaters. I love Rob Zombie's Halloween too. I'm not a big fan of his first one. But I have fond memories of going to see those movies. I have fond memories of that time in my life, and it brought me into this series. And the same can be said for those that are watching this new trilogy. And the same can be said for people that watched the Thorn trilogy, and that was their generation. They went back and appreciated the ones before that. This whole pissing contest of, I'm better than you because I like this movie, I'm smarter than you because I can see that this movie is objectively bad, which is just a really insane argument. It's got to stop, man. It's really, really annoying, and I know it's not going to stop. And I know I'm going to get some comments on this video about, hey, why are you whining about it? Whatever. I don't really care. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just trying to state my piece, and I think I've stated it fairly enough. So yeah, guys, those are some of my biggest expectations for Halloween Ends. Some of the things that I hope to see and hope not to see. And that's my piece on, hey, can y'all stop trying to dunk on Halloween fans? Because it's really old. Like, move on to something else. Dunk on, I don't know, Star Wars fans. I got nothing against Star Wars fans. I'm one myself. I'm just saying, like, we got to get off this. We got to stop. There are plenty of other horror movies coming out. It's not just Halloween all the time. I get it. I also want Freddy and Jason to be back. I want some more variety. I want some spices. You know, I want some flavor to my life. But this is what we got right now. Hate it, love it, don't really care, but don't be a dick about it. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Make sure to follow me on social media. I've got my accounts down below. Make sure to support the channel on Patreon. I also have that below. Make sure to check out the Uneeda Horror Podcast on YouTube at Planet CHH or any audio platform where you get your podcast. That's going to do it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, comment down below, let me know what you expect and what you're fearful of, what you're hopeful of, anything and everything in that there comment section. That's going to do it. Thanks so much. This is Nick, and I am pulling out.